What's up YouTube? Spencer Mandel from Maine Media here. We're at Big Falls Preserve here in New Gloucester, Maine. And today we're going to be shooting some landscape photography with whatever camera you got. Our YouTube, we're here at Big Falls Preserve in New Gloucester, Maine. Today we're gonna shoot some landscape photography, but we're gonna do a little bit different today. Rather than bringing out our 5Ds and our Fuji X-T3s, I'm gonna shoot this little Canon PowerShot G5X today. Just a nice little consumer camera. And we're gonna show you guys that you can still get great landscape photos regardless of what gear you shoot. Dude, this is like a pretty awesome photo. So I'm sure, as a lot of you have been told before, in photography, the camera is very much just the tool that you use. It's not really about the quality that it produces. You know, it's literally just a tool for us to capture these things. So it doesn't really matter what camera you have. And we're just hoping to prove that point a little bit further today with me shooting this Canon PowerShot G5X. Let me just run through my composition with you guys. So I'm shooting the waterfall here, obviously. I've come right into the middle of the river, set up my tripod. I got my wellies on because it's really cold. I don't want to get my feet wet. Make sure you get yourself a pair of wellies. We've talked about that plenty of times. This composition is pretty simple. We've got the waterfall right in the center of the frame, some of the white water sort of leading right up to it. I'm framing out sort of the edges with a log on the left and then another overhanging tree on the right. That all leads right up into the vertical trees and the brighter part of the image in the background. Some of the clouds are casting some nice early morning light, and that's showing a little bit brighter up in the top of the screen. But yeah, nice simple little composition. Let me just bring you guys through my settings. So I have the Canon PowerShot G5X on the tripod here. Just want to show you guys that you can still get great photos with not the top of the line camera. I have a 4-second exposure right now. I've set that up with a 2-second timer. This little camera has a 2-stop built-in ND filter, and I'm using that to get a little bit longer of a shutter speed to smooth some of that water out. I'm at aperture f7.1, and my ISO is 125. Focal length is a little weird on this camera because it's a 1-inch sensor, so I couldn't really tell you what focal length. We'll do the math and put that on the screen for you guys later. But yeah, nice little composition. I'll probably shoot this 1 or 2 more times, and then we'll head on to the next one. So I've set up a nice little composition on the other side of the river here. I really like the composition. The only problem with it is the glare off the water from the bright clouds above. The only way to combat this is to get a polarizer. I don't have a polarizer that fits this camera, but if you guys are shooting a kit lens or whatever, I highly recommend getting a polarizer. This is the one thing that you can't do in post. You pretty much have to do it in the field. People say there are sort of little workarounds, bracketing your photos, shooting multiple different exposures, but ideally you get a polarizer, you spin that polarizer and it takes the glare right off the water. It's not a super essential piece of kit, I don't think, for a landscape photographer. There are plenty of other shots that you can get without a polarizer, but if you want to shoot water pretty much any time of the day, then you are going to need a polarizer. So I just want to show you guys real quickly how a polarizer works. So what it's going to do, you see a lot of the glare coming off the water here. It's not going to get rid of the white water, the bubbles, but it's going to get rid of all the other glare that is sort of caused by those ripples. So let me show you guys real quick. Put this right in front of the lens. I do that, and then I spin that polarizer. Boom, look at that. Takes away that glare. All right, so I'm gonna try this a couple different times because I don't want any glare. That can happen sometimes with a polarizer. The sun's is sort of behind us a little bit, that bright light, and it bounces off of the back of the glass and back into the camera. So make sure that glass is nice and tight to the front. Obviously, you guys won't be doing this. Hopefully, you'll have a real polarizer that screws on the front of your lens. But just as an example, really, really awesome. Simplifies my scene nice. Let's get this shot. Try and be very still so you don't shake the camera at all. I don't want any fingers in my shot. So I'm gonna just keep shooting this. And also every time I shoot it, I get a little bit different of a swirl right here in the foreground. So let's shoot this a couple different times. So the real key here for me, this isn't an issue if you have a screw-on filter, but keeping it nice and flush to the lens without getting camera shake or getting my fingers in the shot at all. But I think I've accomplished it. I've also shot a little before and after with the polarizer, so we'll throw both of those photos on screen for you guys. Let me know in the comments below which one you guys like better, and if a polarizer is totally necessary, and if you're gonna get one or not. All right, so once again, we've moved downstream from where we were before. There's another little cascade here, and then there's this log that you can probably see right in front of me that has blocked, sort of dammed up the entire river here and created this little pool. And we have another one of those big foamy eddy currents right here in the foreground, and this is just spinning. This is like this little vortex of water right here, which is really cool. And then sort of the diagonal line of the water running through the frame. Obviously the subject is a little cascade up here, but not much has changed. It has gotten brighter, so I've stopped my camera, stopped my lens down all the way. It's at f11 now. I'm at a 5-second exposure with ISO 125, which is the lowest this camera can go. And again, I'm just throwing this polarizer in front of the lens, making sure it's right up tight to the lens and trying not to move during that 4 or 5 second exposure. All right guys, well I think that's gonna wrap it up here for us here at Big Falls Preserve. I had a really great time shooting the little G5X. I think it was pretty eye-opening for me as well. I hope it was for you. We're gonna put all the photos on screen for you now, and yeah, let us know what you think in the comments. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe if you want to see more content from us. And we'll see you guys next time.